Hello, my name is Desiree, as you know. Today I've decided I'm going out on Saturday and I'm going to a barbecue and I just need something new to wear. So today for you I'm going to make a box pleat skirt. Quick, simple and easy. And also I'm going to make a top to go with it as well to complete it, so it's an outfit. I went to the shop and I bought 5 meters of fabric. I didn't care what it was, I just needed something that I could wear. So, because no matter what fabric you buy, what print is on it, it will always look good in the end because you made it. So, I've got 5 meters of fabric. It's flowery, summery, just ideal. And it's 45 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is, there's not going to be much measuring involved. All I need to know is that this box pleat's got to go around my waist. All you need to know that you want the length that you want. So whatever length you want, add 2 inches or 3 inches of hem for it. Add on to it. For the waist, add an extra inch on just to make sure, so that you could have your seam allowance. And basically that's it. So what I also bought is that I was trying to get Petersham. Now that's an old word, but some shop knows it, some shop don't. But the shop that I went, they only had say half an inch in width, and I didn't want half an inch in width, I wanted at least 2 inches. So I bought this stuff instead to put in the waistband. Now it's strong and it's the type of thing you use for a strap, a belt or something. So I'm going to have this in my waist instead of Petersham or interfacing. You could use interfacing, but I like something that just very quick, stitch it on, and I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to make this skirt. I'm going to cut, let me see now, I'm going to cut a long strip. Maybe I might use, let's see, 3 meters in length, and then pleat it all up, because once you use box pleat it takes a lot of fabric. So I'm just going to box it all up and then see what's left over to make it easy for you. So it's not about all the measurements, because everybody's different. As I said, I don't want to give you my waist measurement. So all I've done is taken this, gone round, it fits my waist, and that's what I'm going to do. You can make it tight if you wish or not, and the length. So you decide on the measurement. It's as simple as that. So let me get on with it. So here is my fabric. Hold on a second. So here is my fabric. That's the width I was telling you about, which is 45 inches. And I think I bought 5 meters. Now this is flowery and it goes all over the place, so I'm safe. So what I'm going to do is the ends. Oh, you know that I've moved house and all my machines are in the lockup. My overlocker, my industrial overlocker, so I've got to use a small one. So I'm going to use this small overlocker as little as possible. Everything I'm going to do is as little as possible. This dress is going to have only one seam, and that's going at the back where I put the zip in. Quite honestly, you can have the zip at the side as well. It doesn't matter which way. So on this fabric, on the ends, it's nice and it's not fraying or anything. So you could use any side you like. So on this one, you could either turn it up and leave it and stitch it, top stitch it all the way long, but I don't like that top stitching and having the stitching showing, so I won't do that. So I'm going to use a kind of a zigzag stitching on my little machine. But for you, you could use a hemming machine, a hemming stitch, or a zigzag stitch. Doesn't matter. This fabric is so busy, you ain't going to see it. Or you can do a 4-inch hem, which gives it a nice weight. And I would prefer the 4-inch weight. So that's what I'm going to do. So first of all, I'm going to hem it up, iron it, 2-inch, then 2-inch, 4 inches, turn it up, and then get my machine and stitch all the way along. Whatever stitch you want to do. And if you've got an embroidery machine as well, you can even use an embroidery machine and just stitch it up. So this is going to be quick and simple. Now, the question you're going to ask me is, how much fabric do I need to make my skirt to go around my waist? Now here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to measure my waist. And whatever your waist is, there's my waist, times it by 4. That should allow enough pleats for your skirt. So what you could do now, so I've done it by 4, times it by 4. Or if you want, you can times it by 3. So whatever your waist is, times it by 3 and have less amount of gather. Because even though mine is going to be box pleat, I'm still going to gather it up a little bit to give that a bit of a flare or flare. So that's what I'm going to do. So here I've pre-hemmed it. So there. So it's turned over, it's ironed. And I've pre-hemmed it so it's got a nice hem at the bottom. And then I'm now going to cut it. So my measurement, I worked it out to be 3.5 meters that I need to give me this amount of gathering. So 1, 2, 3, and that's 4. So half it gives me 3.5. Right, so as I said, my pleated skirt doesn't have to be exact in the quantity because I'm going to tailor make it to fit my waist. So 3.5, so that's my leftover, and I'll make something else with the leftover, just a little top. Now most of you don't like to see me rip it, but if this fabric can rip, I'm going to rip it. And then I'll straighten it up. There we go. Now I will put the 2 ends together and I will cut it straight. Because one end, when the shop cut it for me, was definitely not straight. So if you've got a right angle ruler, this is where you're going to need it. So I'm going to now, can you see this here? When the shop cut it for me, it was definitely not straight. So I'm going to lose a bit there. So I'm going to put the 2 ends together. So I put the 2 straight ends together, and I can roughly see that what I ripped was not bad actually. It's not bad at all. It's very good. That means it was woven very good. But for the sake of you, what we're now going to do is going to find the right angle without using a ruler. Let me turn it this way. Because as you know, I've been reduced to working from my dining table and I cannot get used to this. So I've put the two together, and in order to find the right angle, because I don't have my right angle, is that I fold it using this as my straight edge. So once I fold the two straight edges together, put the straight edge amongst the straight edge and then crease it. There we go. Now, as you can see, that is my right angle. So increasing it now, I now know where to cut it, because I do not have a ruler at this moment. And from here, you can see when the shop assistant cut my fabric for me, look what they did. So I didn't get true value for money. So there we are. And the bit that I ripped, that's how much I wasted. But I'm not tight-fisted. I'd just rather get on with work. Now, the length of my skirt, let me see now. How tall do I want my skirt? I think I want my skirt just above my knee. Now, how tall do I want my skirt? I've got knock knees, so I don't want my knock knees showing. So I'll just have I'll have it just below my knee, say roughly there. And that will make my skirt, say around 26 inches in the drop. So 26 inches, add on 1 more inch, and that's going to be the length of my, so that is where I'm going to cut it. So that's my skirt. As to save time, I will fold this fabric and cut it all in one sweep. You either cut it all in one sweep or use the pattern as a guide and cut it that way. Because we do a lot of moving around in this house, I have no idea where they've put my box of pins. Right, so now I'm going to cut the top off. So what I'm going to do here now is I've marked it, is I'm going to fold it to where that nip is that I put. There's the nip. There it is, right there. And I'm going to use my fabric as a ruler. I'm getting the air out to make sure. Now, to make sure, I can either use the pattern or follow this marking. So there it is, 14 inches there. And I'll take this up a little bit. That's 14 inches. So I'm going to use that to cut it. Right, so that's a rough indication, but what I'm also going to do is I'm going to follow the pattern as well. There's a pattern here that gives me a guide mark to say how straight it is. So there's a leaf there. Still at the top of this leaf. There's a leaf. And that's the length of my skirt. Right, so there's my skirt, and then I'm going to roughly say how wide I want my pleats. So I'm going to do a sample first, and then I'll do the first one and then do the rest like it. So let me stitch my hem down. Now, what type of stitching do I want to do? Do I do a top stitch? No, I won't. I'll do a proper stitch. Can you see number 6? That's what I'm going to use. Number 6 to hem this. To complete a full circle on my hem, because I haven't stitched the sides together yet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start stitching from here, not at the beginning. So I'm going to leave myself some room to bag this out and complete the circle. So that's an easy way for you to do it. The difficulty about using these stitches as well is that this fabric here is folded underneath, and then you've got a step here, and what it is so difficult is that you've got to keep an eye on this section there. You've got to keep your eye on that section here after you've programmed it where you want the needle to go, the zigzagging. So it stitches a straight line and then it goes over and grabs a bit of the fabric and then goes back. It stitches a straight line, then goes over and then goes back and stitches a straight line. And you've got to really keep your eye on it. And I don't like using this, because every now and then it takes too much fabric. So as you can see, there's the hem inside, fabric's folded over, and then this one goes on top. And let me see, you can't see it from this side, but it's folded on underneath. Then stitch. So I've done that and I've left this end open. You turn that back on itself and that's what it looks like that. And on the other side, it looks like that on the other side. So if I was now to get the two ends and stitch the two ends up, I've got the overlocker out. I was going to overlock it, but I'm a bit lazy to overlock it, where the old-fashioned way was, remember, we used to just stitch that under and that was it. The overlock is only just over there. So let me overlock it. And then I will continue to stitch this bit up. So I will fold it back up like that, put it back underneath the machine and close that bit up, and then that will be the circle completed. And now I'll move on to the zip. Close the zip up, move the toggle up to the top and continue. Make sure the seam allowance at the back is open and then continue. As I can feel feel the bottom of the zip. Just pass it a little bit. The zip is there. There it is. Put the needle in, turn the corner. It's there. Stitch across. Make sure that the bottom of the zip not in the way, so just use your hand. Turn it in. Crease it. Now when you sew into the seam allowance. If not, take the machine to make sure that you don't hit that section of the bottom of the zip. Move this slightly out of the way and continue sewing. Machine foot is on top of the zip. Just go very slowly. once again we lift the foot up and we move the zip out of the way. Jab a little bit more. Go back into the same hole and continue sewing. Now I don't know where my zip foot is, so even if I had it I still would have done it this way. There it is.